Welcome to another episode of the Real Estate Junkies. I feel really cool with my background in this shirt. I hope you can see my face at least against this background, but I love it. I love color. And today we're going to talk about color in real estate, and that's called REO. Is it color or not? I don't know. But the fact is that a lot of people approach me and ask, okay, I want a really good deal, something that nobody's ever heard of and that I don't have any competition against the other people. And we're talking about REOs, so we can flip them or get into a property that is really cheap and stuff like that. And it's so difficult to explain. By the time we know about it, it's gone. So you got to be in the right place at the right time with the right financing, pretty much cash, to be able to snap such a property. To know how to do that, to know how to deal with REOs, and to know how to get a good deal on property, stick around. We'll be right back. So we're back, and to cover the most important things about REOs and how to take advantage of them, I got in the studio my buddy John Thompson with the TG Loans team.
You got it.
So John, we got something here. I get clients asking me about getting these special deals, REOs,
Really?
standing from real estate owned, which means
you.
the bank already took them.
Yep.
And just to give a brief explanation on this, which a lot of people don't
I think it's
know,
important.
is when there is a default on the loan and so on, there is a period to cure that loan.
Yep.
And then at some point of time, people get their notice of default, and then they get a notice of foreclosure.
Yep.
And then if they don't do whatever they need to
Supposed to
do
do.
there, which usually ends up with the short sale,
Yeah.
the smart way,
Sometimes, yeah.
but then it goes into foreclosure. And then the bank takes it.
Yep.
It's sold on the courtyard steps or something like that. It can be saved in the meantime.
Sure.
But not to go much into it, the
Yeah.
fact is that REOs, when they show up on the market, they're pretty much sold.
There are, and here's one of the things that I tell consumers that come across my desk and they're talking about financing and everything is, and they have the same question. They want to get a good deal. Everyone feels good when they get a good deal. What I say is just turn it around. Let's say you're the bank and you're selling something that you took back. Someone defaulted on money that you lent them, and now you own it again. Are you going to go out and try and give someone else a good deal? Or are you going to try and get your top dollar for the property?
Right.
You're obviously going to try and get the top dollar for your property. So by the time that you and me as consumers hear about it, generally anyone with a ton of money on the inside kind of already passed on it, right?
Absolutely.
And I don't mean to be so coy about it, but the reality is I think it's tough to get great deals on REOs and short sales these days.
Yeah, I usually I have a special, I call it a secret list of unlisted properties,
Yeah.
in which I go through the hoops to find all the agents that are going to be listing REOs so that we can actually be there first. That I know the for sale by owners.
Yep.
I go out and spend some time finding those, and all these little deals that are not listed, so that those type of clients can actually get there first.
Yeah.
Because one of the things that really, really hurts me, I have clients with a bunch of money that want to buy property,
Sure.
and since we're low on inventory, we hit a house, any house they like.
Yeah.
Get 17 offers.
Yeah, ton of
They're all
offers. That's right.
cash offers, and they range up in the $600,000 to $800,000.
They're all over the place.
Yeah. So, tell me all you know about REOs and the good and bad experiences
Sure.
you got.
Well, not a problem. And let me go back a quick step because I think what you said was really critical. That the deal, two things. The deal is not the REO necessarily. The deal is maybe getting that REO or that short sale first. And just like when the market was booming back from 1998 to 2005, there's multiple offers, just like we're seeing again today.
Right.
A lot of activity. The people that were successful in that market, when I say people, I mean the buyers that were successful had great professional real estate agents that got them there first. So you might have been competing, but at least you got in on the competition. You wait 2 or 3 days now, the competition's already over.
Yeah.
Right, and so it's kind of the same thing. So I think that's your first point, is to work with really a top, good professional real estate agent. But then I think really the second part of what makes it so good in these REOs is not the REO itself, but it's the financing you can get these days. Okay,
Yep.
so it's really the financing.
It's a
And we're-
combination of the two, but the financing.
yeah, but the financing is what the great deal is these days. And you have FHA HUD financing, which is as little as 3.5% down with mediocre kind of credit, and all the money can come from your Uncle Bob. I mean, you can do some pretty creative stuff with these transactions. You have Fannie Mae. Fannie Mae is this quasi-government private agency. They own real estate all over the country that they've taken back on these foreclosures. And they're offering special financing on their homes that they're selling. So if you have a listing that's a Fannie Mae REO, which is a home path, it's called Home Path.
Okay.
You can Google Home Path and you can get all the details on it. And Home Path has special financing with no appraisals and no mortgage insurance, as little as 3% down. And really an awesome kind of deal.
So can anybody kind of, it's an internet age and people, the viewers are going out online and checking things out. I mean, in my personal opinion, that's a stumbling block. A lot of them feel that, they can get the info and then they start doing things themselves.
Yes, and so I think there's nothing wrong with starting on the internet. In fact, I sort of expect that most people should start on the internet, at least to get some basic information. So if you hear a term like Home Path that I've now just said and you hadn't heard of it before, go ahead and Google it, at least learn the basics about it. But the bottom line is you can't implement that program without someone like me or another professional that ultimately is going to understand how the program works, tell you the ins and outs and the details of it, to actually make it come to happen in your life.
And there is a lot of different paperwork and special requirements that if you don't know them.
That's right. If you miss one or two pieces of paper on these deals, you're done.
Yeah, that's where the professional.
Well, that's where the professional comes in. That's again where for the first person in who does the job right tends to wins the day in those situations.
Right. Now you mentioned a couple of stories that you might have had in your experience, and I always love the stories.
Oh,
you tell.
thank you. I appreciate that. Well, so we'll talk. Here's one that came to mind. Okay, so we've just closed a transaction for this gentleman here in the San Gabriel Valley. His name is Michael. He's an attorney, and he is divorced, but he has a young son. And for him, as he went through this traumatic experience of this divorce and wanting to hold on to this relationship with his young son, he felt like one of the things would really solidify that long-term relationship with his boy was to have a home in a great family neighborhood. So he had a particular area of the valley that he wanted to look into. He wanted to get a nicer upscale neighborhood. He wanted to get a safe neighborhood. He wanted to get a cul-de-sac, all these kind of things. Right. So sure enough, he finds the perfect property, and guess what? It's a REO. Right? And not only is it a foreclosed property, but it's really beat up. And this happens to a lot of these properties. People that leave them are not always the happiest of people, right? They've lost their home that they, whatever lifestyle, whatever went into that home, they've lost it now. And so they beat it up. They take things out of the home, they put holes in the wall. In fact, this home was so beat up that ultimately no lender would lend on it. So the bank is looking for an investor. They're looking for someone to come in with cash, rehab it, rebuild it, and make it new again, which would be fine in a $200,000 or $300,000 home. This happens to be a several $100,000, almost an $800,000 home. Wow. So a lot of cash for an investor to come in and do that kind of a rehab work on it. We got together with him, and through several weeks of preparation and talking and discussing, we ultimately put him into a HUD program, which is called the FHA 203K, which allows you to actually close on a property that is damaged. The lender, because you're doing this renovation loan, and the loan is going to fund the renovation work to get it back to code, because there's all sorts of code violations, all sorts of things, they'll close on that transaction and allow you to do that work after you close. Only loan program that allows that to happen.
Any specific qualifications for that?
Got to be owner occupied.
Okay.
Got to have a job. Got to have good credit. Those kind of
so
things.
Again,
but nothing.
All these
you got to do the
programs
planning.
seem to be for people that are buying the house for themselves.
Absolutely, yes. There's not a lot of, that's a good point. There's not a lot of creative, such as the word is these days, but creative financing for investors these days. Right. It's all really, the creative stuff or the stuff that's a little bit out of the box is all designed for people buying their own homes, because that's the government wants to rebuild the foundation of our country, and they know a lot of that is in real estate. Yep. And they want people to own the real estate and live in the real estate. So in his case, he got it. He got his backyard. There was some money in there to refix the pool. So he's got a great little place now that he can hang out with his son and build this relationship over the next 10, 15 years. So
then again, it ties into the fact that it is not possible to pan out unless all the people on the team are there to apply the programs that are existing. And since those programs change daily, almost.
No, that's right.
Unless you're in tune with them, you might skip. And I did see in the past 30 days maybe, 2 people that went on their own, with the help of somebody who didn't know much, and did some things that they did not use what was available for them in the market for the best deal, which is just sad.
Yeah, sorry to hear that.
The good thing is maybe they don't know about it yet, so.
Well, don't tell them.
Exactly. So anything else in the REO? What is the, let's say if people are ready to get into the REO market, what is it that they should be looking for? Of course, I can be the one giving them the tours and stuff like that. But the fact, as far as getting qualification,
I would say so. It's I wouldn't necessarily approach it any different than you'd maybe approach any other purchase. The bottom line is, to get financing in today's market, you got to do your homework up front. You got to take some time to get your paperwork together, make sure your credit looks good, meet with a professional mortgage advisor, and do all your due diligence. And that is going to involve pulling out every piece of paper you've had since you were in second grade, and double checking and rechecking it, and getting prepared for them to ask you more stuff in another 2 weeks from now. But the bottom line is getting through that process and being patient with it, because it doesn't matter if you're buying an REO or you're buying any home. It is now. You got to get in.
You're getting me going on that. I had a client.
Pandora's box.
Yeah, exactly. I had a prospect that wanted to move up.
Yes.
And they wanted to buy something. They wanted to actually buy REO, keep the old place, but get something.
Buy something new. Yeah.
And they didn't want to live in it because they have a condo. So they wanted to move up to a house, smaller house, and all that, and to go. However, the challenge here was, and I said I had because I couldn't work with them, is that they have the knowledge of, oh, you know what, I have covered the financing. My mortgage broker is Bank of America in that particular case, and they told me I can buy a house so much and so much. But they didn't lie everything on the table. Not for their mortgage broker. They didn't say that they wanted to put the down payment from refinancing their condo, which would change their situation entirely.
Correct.
So I couldn't, after trying to get them to sit with
somebody else,
educated person like yourself, so that they can understand all that stuff, without being successful with that, I had to kind of let them go somewhere else.
Yeah.
What would you recommend?
Well, it's you bring up a very valid point. I think the key for buyers in today's market, other than doing all this homework up front, is to be, very open and honest with the person you're working with, whether it's your real estate professional, your mortgage advisor. You got to tell them everything. I mean, it doesn't really matter. A good professional is going to say, okay, look, that's not going to work. Let's try this. It's going to usually have an option. And so I would encourage all your listeners, no matter where you are in the process, you just got to lay it all out on the table and don't worry about it. I mean, it seems like anything you try and hold back these days is going to get you in trouble.
There'll be no deal.
Yeah, and it's just not worth running the risk. Wouldn't you rather know today there's a problem, and if you got to fix something, take 1 month or 2 months or 6 months to fix it, and then go out and get it? This market is a great market, and I think we probably have the same opinion. It may not be changing for a little while. The window is probably okay. You got some time, but it's a window. You got to do your homework. Do it right.
So to summarize, and I hope they were listening to this, the challenge in this, or the benefit of this market, is not only that there is good deals, whether they be REOs or short sale or anything else, but that the financial conditions are very good. I do remember in the 90s, and I wasn't in the real estate market then, but people would invest and buy relatively affordable properties at the 23% interest rate, 21% interest rate.
Yes.
18%, and that was okay because that was the normal rate at that time.
No, that's right, and that was back in the 80s and so forth. And it was fine. The other side of that coin is that your $400,000 home was $40,000, so that made a difference. But the bottom line is interest rates have never ever been better than they are now today. And so when people say, are REOs for real? Are they a great deal? I say, yeah, they're for real, but the real deal is the financing these days.
You heard it. The real deal is financing. So anyway, for all the other shows that on Real Estate Junkies, you can see them on KGEM's website, or you can go to www, and you don't have to use the www anymore, myrealestatehq.com, and click the link Real Estate Junkies. You'll see all the information. You'll see the information we shared here. You'll find resources and stuff that we mentioned in the shows, and you'll see all the shows that we have done so far. So until then, John, thank you so much.
My pleasure, Nick. Thank you.
See you all next time.